Welcome back to SwitchCorner. It's time for our weekly look at 10 deals under $10 or of course your local currency. Here we're covering games from the US, Canada, UK, EU and AU eShops. This week as well then, not only deals but two winners to announce. One for a Celeste code and then one for a Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales code. We'll do that as we go through the games today though, so get comfy because this is one of the best sub $10 weeks I've seen in some time. With that then, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family and let's get started. So right out the gate, let's go big. Bandai Namco bringing the deals this week, and with a new all-time low we get Dragon Ball FighterZ with a monster 84% off. First time I've ever seen it under that $10 mark. This is no question one of the best 2D fighters on the Switch, alongside the greats, so think like Street Fighter, Under Night, your Blaze Blues. This is worth a look though, even if you're not a fan of the anime, because mechanically I gotta say the fight system is sound, and that makes sense because it comes from the mighty Arc System Works. They were behind this and they're arguably one of the best fighter devs out there. Here though, expect epic 3 versus 3 battles, and when I say epic I mean it, as it brings all the flash and over the top action fans of Dragon Ball they've come to expect. With online battles, single player arcade, story mode, there's a whole lot to like here, and that's before we even touch on the 21 character roster, who definitely has someone to suit everyone's playstyle. If you buy it and love it, or if you own it already, just know as well the DLC is currently on sale as well. Alright then, so super cheap now and also a monster sale. LeGrand Legacy, Tale of the Fatebounds comes back on sale, but this time they've done a monster 90% off. The previous sale price was 50%, so this is approaching the point where you check out your gold coins and see if you maybe got enough to pick it up, because I would highly recommend it. This is an experience for me that I actually enjoyed the most handheld. There's something about chilling with a good old-fashioned RPG. I just love that. Story-wise here though, it's nothing out of the ordinary. You're going to be working alongside what are known as the Fatebounds to bring peace to these lands. But what actually makes it work so well for me, it sets out to be a love letter to your favourite JRPGs, and I think it absolutely nails it, falling somewhere around a PS2 era entry. Fully 3D, a solid soundtrack, turn-based combat, mini-games, inventory management, a whole lot of loot of course, and then even some minor city management building elements. If normally the idea of a JRPG though catches your interest and you don't mind a more, old school approach, then I would absolutely head here. This is actually probably my favourite deal of the week just because the price is crazy. Alright, so here's one I reviewed on the channel, Snakey Burst. In full transparency, I gave it a below average 4 out of 10. It's basically taking influence from 2 sources, and they're good sources. Crazy Taxi, and then they're throwing in some good old Snake. The idea is solid though, basically drive around these different maps, from realistic, so think like Paris, to the floors of a dorm room or even the surreal. Along the way you'll pick up passengers, drop them off, and when you do that you'll see your bus grow in length. My complaints at the time, progression was too simple, meaning you unlocked everything too quickly. It lacked the multiplayer portion that the PC build had, and then I wanted my score counter on screen just to pump up that intensity. I'll say it now, these points, they still stand, they haven't been addressed, and I stand by that review. That said though, reviews with this one all over the place, and I was for sure on the lower end of the scoring out there. It's a title that no doubt has an audience, and I'd be lying if I said I still didn't have fun with it, I just saw the missed potential. The game though, it absolutely works, and there's something I've got to admit extremely satisfying watching not only your bus grow, but then jumping over yourself, because yes, you can jump, and you can jump about 100 feet in the air. So I'm going to add it here today. It has problems, but if you want something a little bit more weird and like to chase high scores, this may be for you. I still even myself revisit this every so often, and you know what, it's just a shining example that games split audiences, and this is one of them, so maybe that 40% off will be enough to get you on board. So lovers in a dangerous space-time now, and I mentioned this one in a Hidden Gems video just a couple of weeks back. I did a super rare game special, and now it's hit a sale, and it's the first one since April. Sales on this one maybe happen every 4 or 5 months, but it's always a very short window, and that's very much the case today. If you want it, you don't have a huge amount of time, so jump in while it's 50% off. It is well worth it. The idea though, it's simple. Pilot a spaceship and save your friends, because a world that was once full of love has been invaded by an anti-love enemy. money. To top all of that off, then they've gone and kidnapped all your friends. Sounds simple, but it's actually a little bit more complicated than that. Here you're going to be running around your ship, and different rooms contain different consoles. These control different mechanics of the ship, so think like the engines, the steering, or maybe even the weapons and shields. What starts simple, I gotta say, escalates quickly, that is for sure. It's a great time single player, but this one is at its best when you can play locally with 4 players. You'll just all be running around this ship like crazy, trying to coordinate what you are all doing. Something super satisfying in that unison of actions just working out perfectly, and it's just like few games can capture that magic. Little Nightmares now, and this was on sale as recently as June, but a new all-time low today, dropping from its typical 50% discount to a pretty amazing 75% off. The sequel is coming, and it seems we can expect that probably early next year. So I say check out where this series started. It is horror themed, this one, but I wouldn't let that put you off if you don't like horror. I'd call it more creepy than a jump scare kind of vibe with this one. Here you'll be helping Six and the kid to escape the Mall, which is like a big ship. This ship though, it's filled with all of your childhood fears and a crew that is out to eat you. No real combat here, this one, it's all about puzzle platforming with the occasional like stealth moment, but it is a great time and I'm a big fan of this Switch port. You can also see this as the definitive edition containing all content. So my pickup now, then we'll do our first winner of the week, but this week I'm grabbing Zombieland Double Tap Road Trip. Going to be the first one to warn you now, reviews on this one are weak, but I'm a sucker for a twin stick shooter, and I know a few people that have played this one and said it's nowhere near as bad as many people are kind of making out. Whether that's true or not, I'm about to find out, but the idea of a twin stick shooter taking place in the Zombieland universe, you know, taking down all these like different enemies, I've heard worse ideas, let's put it that way, so I'm going to give it a shot. Wish me luck though, 75% off, it's a solid discount, and it's low enough now that if it does suck, I'm not going to be too disappointed. So the first winner of the week then on this one, it's a code for Framebreaker, The Witcher Tales, and it's going to Celso O'Donnell, who pointed out how incredible Child of Light is, and I totally agree. So congrats Celso, drop me an email to claim your code. It is in the video description down below. Later in the video then we still have a code for Celeste to give away. Alright, so this week I've been playing a whole lot of NBA 2K21 and I absolutely suck, but it reminded me that I actually had a really good time with 2K Playgrounds 2. Well, this week it's on sale for an all-time low of 83% off. The main thing with this one, you've got to work out if you're going to be willing to grind. It's a slow burn in its progression as you earn these like points to unlock packs. It's not a good approach, honestly, and way over the top. It's basically pushing you to, you know, pull your credit card out and spend some real life cash on packs. But if you can kind of get over that, there is a fun arcade basketball under it all. This is one of those games I would never ever recommend near full price because I do not agree with the practices. But this is such a deep drop at this point that you should like still find some fun to be had. A huge roster though, online play, new courts, and then of course a whole lot of over the top action. It's no NBA Jam, but it was influenced by it and you can definitely see that. I grew up on that game. I love that game, and I still think personally, as long as you kind of dig into it, you will find the fun here, especially at this insanely low price. So Pinstripe now, and while every other game on today's list is at like an all-time new low price, this one doesn't quite reach that point, but I missed it back in May for the last sale, so I want a chance to talk about it. This is a beautiful little indie where the visuals just absolutely hit the mark. You're playing an ex-minister, Teddy, that travels through the frozen depths of hell in search of his kidnapped daughter while uncovering his own past. The visuals are beautiful though, the soundtrack's stunning, and if you like, you know, movies like Nightmare Before Christmas, this is absolutely for you. Perhaps most impressively though here, considering, you know, the music, the visuals, the story, the puzzles, the minor combat, the platforming, this, all of it was done by one man over 5 years. Huge respect from me for this one, it's pretty amazing what he has put together. So our penultimate game of the week then before our final winner for a code of Celeste, and of course our final game of the week, but Ghostblade HD. This is one I've spoke about before, but a few of my shmup reviews, they've actually been blowing up recently, and a question I'm seeing a lot is, what is a good starting point for someone new to the genre? Because it's not exactly welcoming, and I could not agree more. There's definitely this like high barrier to entry. Well, this game is about as good as entry-level shmups get. With a nice variety of like difficulty levels, beginners should feel comfortable, and veterans, it's okay, it's entertaining, but there's a lot better out there if you're looking to, you know, get your ass kicked. Still though, I think you can do worse right now at 50% off. This actually released on the Switch and was a modern release for the Dreamcast, which is A very cool idea. I love seeing these new games coming out on like Dreamcast, so they get bonus points for that. But expect here 5 stages, solid bosses, 3 difficulty levels, different ships, local co-op, and then even in-game achievements. As I say, veterans, play it if you want something a bit more on the chill side of things. Everyone else though, prepare to get addicted to just like high score chasing. So our second winner of the week then, and this is for a code for the mighty Celeste, and it's going to Jason Regis, who just got his Switch, and this is a hell of a game to add to the library, so congrats on winning the code, and congrats on actually just joining the Switch owner club. Prepare that bank account for some damage, things can get a little rough, and before you know it, you will be in like Backlog City. Our final game of the week then, a modern classic for you now, Undertale coming in with 33% off, and if you've ever fancied giving this one a shot, now is the time, and honestly I urge you to check it out because it is pretty incredible stuff. The reason I'm saying right now is it rarely hits a sale, and the last time this had a discount was 12 months ago. This is one that I personally like played digitally, and then I liked it enough that I invested in the physical collector's edition. Everything about this one, I will say, is an acquired taste, from the visual style to the seriously weird sense of humour to the incredible chiptune soundtrack. But RPG fans, you should absolutely like play this. It takes everything you expect from the genre and then kind of turns it on its head, and it's honestly some of the best writing I have seen in a long time. I think the eShop description kind of sums things up best. So you've got Data Skeleton, dance with a robot, cook with a fish woman, or simply destroy everyone where they stand. The future is yours to determine. This one, for me at least, will go down in video game history. And that is it, another week down, another 10 deals under $10. Congrats again to our winners this week. Remember then to head over to Twitter if you did enter there too. I've literally just announced the winners for the 2 codes as well. If you do have Twitter then, maybe check me out. I'm trying to grow that whole like thing out. I'm trying to get used to the, post interesting stuff daily jazz. It's SwitchCorner YT though if you do want to take a look, and it's in the video description down below. With that then, look, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It truly is appreciated, it helps more than you know, so thank you so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.